What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us in today. This is the Crispy Reviews podcast with me, Krispy Cody, and I brought my good friend Ross Sauce back.
Howdy,
Uh,
friends.
we got to experience 3 Points Music Festival. It was a really, really, really good time down in Miami. It was the dates of October 20th and the 21st. It was a 2-day festival. It was really cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with square one, which is the overall festival vibe. All right. So for me, the festival is so last time I was at the festival was 2019. Okay. They had a very small footprint back then compared to what they have now. I would say it's literally double the size of what it used to be. The main area only housed I believe it was just the mainframe stage, a food area, a pizza area, and then in the inside part, it had Despacio, which is a really cool experience. Then there is skate space as well that was there, where you get to roller skate and everything. So where all of that is, if you went to the festival, that's where the entire 3 Points used to take place back when I went in 2017 and 2019. So that's a very small footprint compared to what it is now. Like they've expanded. I don't even remember like how many stages that they had. They had like a lot of stages. It was like eight, maybe 8 to 10 stages. So it was really cool. Um, but yeah, overall, with the bigger footprint, it allowed them to do a lot more with the space. You know, the stages were kind of spread out, but really close to each other. Um, the things that I liked most was that they expanded like their art experiences, and they were kind of like here, there, and everywhere. So you can kind of walk around and experience the whole thing of what 3 Points Miami has to offer you. But I'm going to go and ask Ross here now some questions because I'm interested to know how he liked 3 Points Music Festival. This was his first time ever going. And if you get to check out the other podcast before this one about when we were talking about 3 Points and our expectations and everything that was going to come of it and reviewing the lineup, he was on it and we got to, get to talking. It was a really good time. So go watch that video and then we could catch you up to this. So, anyways, Ross, what was your overall thoughts of the vibe of the festival and your first impressions?
Overall, the festival vibe was really sick. It's in Vinwood, and all of like the art leading up to the festival, no matter like where you park, you're gonna pass like the graffiti streets. You're gonna pass like art, whether it's been like recent or just years old. It's really awesome just to kind of like walk up to it and see it. There was two different entries. Obviously, you have VIP and you have like the actual normal entry. Um, I am not exactly sure in terms of normal entry how easy it was to get in. Or how close it was to all of the other kind of like festivities, I guess you could say. But overall, like getting right in, um, really cool. It's definitely having not been there the first time to see how much bigger it's gotten. I feel like they kind of definitely planted certain places to sit, and basically everything was kind of more standing or sitting on the ground if you were interested in doing that, which wasn't a problem. But yeah, they were definitely kind of situated for people. And I feel like a lot of people didn't really show up until way later. I feel like it was very dead initially at the beginning between like 6 to like 8 or 9. And then at like 8 or 9, it would get really, really busy, which I didn't know what to expect. But it was good vibes. I mean, it was definitely a lot. I feel like I did not expect, I think it was over 10,000 people there or something like that, but or probably a lot more honestly, but that was really intense for me.
Yeah. So just to chime in on that, so the festival was sold out in all ticket categories. So in single days, in double day tickets, and VIP and platinum and all that stuff. Just to clarify though, I went GA and Ross got to go VIP. He went top shelf for his experience, and I didn't get to experience the VIP entrance. So was it different than like what GA's entrance looked like, or was it like something smaller and more like interpersonal, maybe like an experience?
Well, like comparable to I would say I don't know how the general admissions was. I didn't see it, but basically you just had to walk up and then there was the security and it was a very I don't know if it was minimal compared to the other, but obviously you had like the wand and then they checked bags. And then basically right when you went past that, you were in. You were in like the lounge area slash right next to the main stage. So that was kind of like the
Oh, wow. Okay. So
yeah,
you were
so
actually, so you entered in where the old side of 3 points is, where the main stage was and everything.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So the entrance that I went into both days was on the newer area, which was where the RC Cola stage is, like the really big one, like the with the EDM setup and everything like that. They just had like scaffolding above as like the industrial kind of vibe that they always like to give off with the 3 points like triangle, and it was basic, but we had like separate lines. There was GA plus entrances and stuff like that. I don't know if there was VIP. I can't remember, but that's cool that there was an entrance on the other side. I didn't even know that there was an entrance closer to the main stage.
Yeah, it led you right into like the lounge area, which like didn't have seats, which I thought was kind of crazy, but it wasn't like horrible. But yeah, you had all your food vendors right there, and then it was right next to that main stage, so it was all kind of like right
Oh,
there.
wait a minute. So wait, was that like the VIP area that was like elevated and you could like
Yes.
see? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about now. So from a GA perspective, you're entering all the way. I guess we'll say it's the back side of the festival instead of the front, because I consider where the main stage is where the front of the festival would be. So I feel as if from the back you had to walk really, really far and you get to the main stage. And once you get into that corridor area where the old 3 points grounds is, that's where the main stage is. You're looking directly at it. And then to my left was the food on the back left. And then there's the VIP area where there's the entrance where you were. And I saw you hanging out there most of the 2 days and stuff. So that's good that you like
Yeah.
took advantage of the space and everything like that. But yeah, so there were a few new things that they had for the festival and stuff, such as Despacio. I know that they had it once before, but I still consider it relatively new because they haven't had it prior to when I went. So it was a new experience. So what were your thoughts on like Despacio and the skate space? I know that you participated in those two things. And
Oh
there was
yeah.
like the lounges in there too. So talk about those experiences for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, with all the standing, there was a lot of standing going on, and you know, you're jumping around to your favorite songs. So I would say like the only place that had beanbags are places for people to just pass out, which people were passed out everywhere with these like giant beanbags next to the skate space, in between that
Yeah,
and the Danny Brown like globe. Um,
it was.
and I really liked
It's Danny Days. Yeah, the
or
Danny
Danny
Days
Days,
globe.
sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
my bad.
No, no, you're good. You're good. Danny Brown, fresh on the mind. That new album is sick, isn't it?
Yeah,
Danny
yeah,
Days. He had an
but
experience called Blue, and it was kind of like in this spherical dome, and I guess it was some type of 360-degree projection thing. I'm only saying guess because we personally didn't get in because supposedly before the festival even happened, they did like an online ticket registration thing, and you get to pick like your time slot and everything like that. And both Ross and I were not informed of this, and we just missed out. We didn't get to do that experience. We kind of tried and waited in one of the standby lines, and it was kind of a joke because if you didn't have a time, you were not getting in. Like they're only letting like one or two people in that didn't have a scheduled time. So you're basically out of luck because, like you said, it's a sold out festival. So there are so many people everywhere trying to like experience different things. So it was just overrun with people.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. It was, and it wasn't exactly always bad in that aspect. I think that the camaraderie was good. There was just certain parts that I feel like the crowd or people were really like, where it got like, it was just like you couldn't, everyone couldn't just enjoy the space together. It really much became like everyone was kind of just like surging into certain spots, and I think that became very hard for people to kind of like, you couldn't
Yeah.
walk certain areas, you couldn't get past people.
So yeah, I would say we basically covered most of the overall vibe. I mean, there was the immersive art experiences. I know you and I got together and we walked through that, which was pretty cool. They had like 3D projected mapped like art things on the wall. I'll insert some photos and stuff to show off what I'm talking about, which is pretty neat. And they actually had like a DJ in there too, and they were playing some like I don't know. It was just kind of like sensory, experimental kind of music that just added an extra layer of like ambiance to the vibe. So it was kind of cool. I enjoyed that space a lot. Um, but over at the indoor part where we were just talking about Danny Day's The Blue Experience, they also had Despacio and Skate Space. And Skate Space, they had that back when I went in 2019. I really loved it because it had a DJ. Like there, it wasn't just one DJ, but they had multiple DJs that were cycling in and out, and it was like a stage where you get to roller skate around the DJ and everything, and just enjoy the overall vibe. I love that. That was a really cool experience, and honestly, they missed the mark. They didn't have a DJ there. It was just roller skating, and then they had added like new projectors and stuff like that, like images on the wall that were cycling in and out all the time. Um, but overall, like skate, you can still roller skate, so that's cool that they at least had that option. And I know that you
And
got
no,
to
this
participate in it.
yeah, the skating was fun. I will say I fell down like twice, but still was totally worth it.
I
And
didn't know you fell.
yeah, those I'm not really good on the four quad wheels. I like inlines,
Yeah.
but man, it was still fun though.
Yeah, and we both. I think I forgot to mention that, but I brought my spouse with me, and I know he brought your girlfriend and everything. So we were, he was experiencing other things, and we would meet up every now and then throughout the festival and just say what's up and talk, and then we'd go off and explore the acts that we were wanting to see. But yeah, I know that you did the skate space, and I was she with you?
She was
Yeah.
kind of on the outside because I don't remember what had happened, but I think she was like getting food or something was going on, and I was just like, "Fuck, I'm gonna try the skating. That'll be fun." So we did
So you
that,
went by yourself?
and yeah, I went up in it because it's like you had to like scan a thing with your phone, like put all your info in, get like another
Oh,
confirmation email, and show that email to the people, and then they would take your shoes and like do the whole. And it wasn't bad. It was just something to where it was a lot more than just like you show me a wristband and they like something simple. So once you
yeah.
went through that and you signed the liability, you got to like put on the shoes. So I did that and went around, and then like it was fun. It was definitely. I feel like you're right. If there had been a DJ, it would have been. I feel like it would have pulled even more people there.
Oh
So
yeah.
in a way, I
Yeah.
feel like it's a mix of like no one would have been able to skate slash like it still was really crowded, but I did love it. And Despacito was really impressive as well going into that.
Despacio, yeah. Despacio is ran by the famous lead singer of the group LCD Sound System, which he's like a groove meister, man. Like he really knows his music. And going in there and experiencing what he crafted this experience like for Coachella many, many years ago. And it was debuted there. And they had it there for a while, for at least like five Coachellas or something like that. And then it disappeared. And everybody thought they would never get to experience Despacio ever again. So it's amazing that 3 Points was even able to, get James Murphy to
Mm.
agree and say like, hey, you know, you come on in there and bring Despacio back. So I've only heard about it through legend and stuff, and getting to experience it in person is where the experience is. With the 360 hi-fi audio sound, James Murphy standing over your shoulder, spinning records that he loves, absolutely amazing. Top notch experience with the disco ball, the sequence lights and stuff like that, and that club like atmosphere. I felt like I was transported back into like the 1970s or something for a moment, and it was like a disco club or some shit. And it wasn't like disco music per se, but that's what it felt like. It felt like this was a 70s nightclub, and it was just top tier. Like it was a really cool experience.
My opinion on it, I was really blown away that he kept going. It was like 5 to 6 hours plus long, and it was
Yeah.
always different. Like when we
Uh-huh.
went, we went in right when it opened, and then I left and came back like an hour and a half later, and it was like completely different.
Yeah.
Um, Completely different lights going on. The vibe was cool, was different, and it was really cool to see how much it was changing during the span of the rest of 3 Point going on. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, so I might just say the pro now, but or the con, I guess you could say. But I really wanted that experience to be open for 3 Point ticket holders for like 3 days, you know? So if they did like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like Sunday it was just Despacio and you get to go, a select number of people, you could maybe purchase an extra ticket or maybe it's included in your ticket. Um, I don't care what it is, but I wanted just to be in that room. And I hated that I didn't have enough time to be in Despacio. Um, I was only in there for like 40 minutes to an hour, and it was the best 40 minutes to an hour of the festival. I felt like it was so amazing being in that room compared to like, going and seeing some other DJs and some of the other experiences.
No, I would highly agree. I would think that that scene, it was very much like the one of the greatest like scenes they kind of set with the sound and everything. You could tell a lot of like time was put into that. Not that it wasn't in the other places, but a lot more for the like seeing the artist, not really the quality of the sound.
Yeah. It just blew my mind that you could literally walk right up to James Murphy and he's right there just spinning a record, having like a coffee or a drink and just chilling. And it was just like a really, really cool vibe.
Do you
Either way, like I think that they should either do it like a 3 day thing, either on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing. But it should be a 3 day experience because it is so amazing. But what were you gonna say?
do you think that the having James Murphy and the that experience kind of made up for not having the DJ in the actual like roller rink, or do you feel like they should have done basically like both?
Oh, that was the other thing. So the other idea, I forgot about that. When I was talking to you the first time at the festival, I said that they should just mix the two. They should bring the roller rink inside of Despacio and just have it be like a roller rink Despacio experience. So then that way, people that was the one thing, a con, I guess you could say, about Despacio was everybody was like standing in the middle of the room and it was like a giant crowd of people just under the disco ball. That's cool, it's fine and dandy, but I feel like it would be a lot cooler if there was a little bit more motion. Like nobody was really dancing in the middle, but on the outer edges everybody was dancing. Like it was a dancing vibe. So nonetheless, like I like having kinetic energy just kind of going on in a room, and I feel like adding that sense of rollerblading would really heighten the experience. So
No, I agree. I think that would have been a cool addition to it.
definitely. So let's move on to the next segment, which was the artists that we saw. All right, so we had Mind Melt, which is the main stage. We had Sector 3, which was the second stage that was outside of the main courtyard that used to house, everything for 3 Points. And then Isotropic was it's like the garden stage, basically. It's about like plants and wood and just kind of urban living. And then there's the RC Cola stage, which was the EDM stage that had a clamshell kind of shape. Looked really neat, and they had fire effects and backlighting. It was really neat. Sequence, which was actually, I saw photos of it when they debuted it a few years ago for 3 Points. I think it was like their 2021 or 2022. I can't remember when. But that was basically like scaffolding, and you're inside a box, and you get to stand up on the second level or on the bottom level, and it was just a really cool experience. I really enjoyed sequences, and I gravitated more to that because it was like an outside setting, and I just liked how that vibe was overall. We have the main stage right here. This is Mind Melt. RC Cola, this is the clamshell. Then we have Isotropic, which was off to the lower right side, outside of the old 3 Points area. And then this is Sector 3, which is the outdoor plant stage. Sequences, here's what I was talking about. It's a 2-level experience where you can stand on the upper rafters, and this is the DJ right here, just hanging out, doing the DJ stuff, and or you can hang out at the bottom. Door IV, I definitely didn't get to do this experience. I don't even know what this is actually.
I think that was
Yeah.
inside that little building.
No, that's not. It's a object that was inside that Players Club. Oh, this
Players
was
Club was the VIP.
yeah, this was in the VIP. I didn't get to experience it, but this is where in 2019 and 2017 used to be like the small room, and you could literally like walk up and hang out with the DJ like right over his shoulders and just watch him play, and it was a really cool experience. But yeah, this is now a VIP thing.
That's how it
So
was in the VIP technically though too. He was just like right there
gotcha.
by the couches, so you could like walk up and talk or whatever.
That's really cool. So how did you like this experience overall for this stage? It was a Players Club.
Oh, it's the Players Club was super sick because there's actually chairs and like tables everywhere. It was a lot more like a bar. There's actually pool
Oh,
tables too.
really?
So you could be playing, yeah, bro, you could be playing pool, and like getting drinks from the bartenders, and they're the person like in the middle back, kind of like with a not stage, but with the DJ setup with either like their friends or people around, kind of sitting around them, helping or whatever. And that was kind of the vibe in there, which was really cool. I really
That
liked that.
is that is really, really cool. I would actually consider buying VIP tickets just to have that extra experience. I really enjoy this room because it's really great sound. Like it's strange because it's a box, but yet the sound in there was really clean and crisp, and I just really enjoyed what this stage offered back in like 2017, 2018. I had some good memories, and I like everything that you just told me that they added, like the seats and the chairs, and making it like a cool club bar vibe. That just sounds very Miami, and it's just right there in the VIP section. Like it doesn't get any better than that, honestly.
I would say I agree. I thought the sequence stage, the main stage, and the players stage were my top three. Sequence, I was drawn to it a lot. That double layered cage was really cool. Hearing the different sounds from being at the bottom to coming up to the top was easy to walk around. I think it was a smart way for them to kind of make it to where you could find where you'd want to be in it. You could mosh in the middle, or if you want to be on the outskirts and just listen and walk through. There's a lot of options. So I did think that that was a very smart idea with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first time getting to experience that stage too, and I really just enjoyed what it was. I was happy that was it was outdoors, and I like that if you went up to the second level you could like cool off, it's still hot in October in Miami, unfortunately, and when you get to go up top and you get to feel a cross breeze every once in a while, it helps you like cool off, and I really enjoyed that as like, you know being part of that stage, that you could just go up top, or you could, like you said, go down in the middle and just dance your heart out. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the set times at these said stages that we just covered. So at the this is Friday, I think this was the 20th. Yeah, Friday, October 20th. All right, so we're going to go throughout the day. I unfortunately didn't get to the festival until very late because I had to. What did I have to do? Oh, we were just getting in, and we were trying to like check into our Airbnb, and we were having a little bit of trouble. And once we got checked in, we had to like hurry and get over to the festival. So I didn't get to the festival until 7:15 or 8 o'clock. It was basically 8 o'clock. I know I caught the last few minutes of explosions in the sky, so that was really cool to get to see them. But when did you arrive to the festival? We're also on day one.
Well, day one, dude, we got there I think like 7:30.
Dang.
We
Okay,
got
so
there like pretty
7:30.
quick. We were shooting for getting there when it started, and we're kind of like delayed getting there. It wasn't a big deal. Like I said, it was very dead. We walked in, we expected there to be a lot of people, and I feel like for the first 2 or 3 hours is like, we got to walk
Yeah.
around, see everything, check it out.
Yeah, it was kind of slow in the beginning, but this day was oversold out. I have to say, like near the end of the night, it was so cramped and crowded, especially for Dom Dollar's set. Like we're gonna talk about that in a moment. But over here is when I arrived was Explosions in the Sky. Who did you get to see when you came in, Ross?
Um,
Do you see their name?
probably probably it was like Richie Hell was going.
Richie Hell on the main stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
He was
All
there when
right.
we showed up,
Mm-hmm. He's a Miami
and then
favorite. He's always on the 3 point lineup.
past that, I think we were just literally exploring and seeing like the outside art and the
Oh,
just
okay.
like seeing how big the whole place was.
Yeah, when I got there, I was on mission mode and I ran from this, the back end of the festival by the RC Cola stage all the way to the main stage. Explosions in the Sky was on at that time. I wanted to see their full set because they were playing a full album, uh, but I got there for the end of it and I just watched that. And then I kind of held my spot for Caribou for main stage. Uh, on both of these days that I was at 3 points, I mainly just hung out at main stage because those were where all the artists were that I was wanting to see mainly. Um, Explosions in the Sky was amazing for the last 10 minutes that I got to see of it. Caribou, phenomenal. Like, I loved their set. They had so many vibrant colors, and it's amazing how they took like technological techno music and got to put like a live spin on it. It was very entertaining, and I enjoyed what they were doing. Who did you get to see at this time slot, Ross?
We're talking about during Caribou.
Yeah, so around like this 8 p.m. time slot right here.
So
So
at
I'll
that
scroll it
period of
up
time,
over.
no, you're good. At that period of time, we watched part of Caribou, and then we went in and we were in Despacito until like 9 or 10.
Despacio, yeah. So you're
Or
in.
yeah, Despacio. Sorry.
No, you're all right. So Caribou, and then you went into Despacio. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Um, and then from there, I remember I went to Sector 3, and I got to see Psychic Mirrors. They're kind of like a funky 70s group, and I watched some of their set until basically my wife got bored and I was like, okay, I guess we'll go see Fred again. So we walked over and saw some of Fred again's set, and to be honest, I don't know if it was just because I showed up late to Fred's set, but I didn't understand what was going on. It was just like a slow part of the set, and he was doing like this sad song or something, and he was like, "Oh, this goes out to my sister," and he was like playing it, and I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, okay, I'm not really vibing with this, but I'll hang out. And I hung out for a bit, and then I was like, nope, I can't watch the rest of this set. So I'm sorry. I know Fred Again fans were packed in there. They were super excited to see Fred Again. I remember I cut through the crowd to Despacio, and that's when I got to do my short extent of Despacio, um, and enjoy all of that. You were at Fred Again, correct, Ross?
Yeah, we saw all of Fred again, and then I think
Okay,
was
so
Skrillex right after.
yeah, Skrillex was right after. So, what was your hot take on Fred Again's set? He's in nomination for an Emmy for his album and everything like that. So, for this
I
as
thought
a new artist and everything.
the set was really good. I didn't think it was the craziest one. I've seen his other clips from like Coachella, and I've seen him do like some other mixes. I honestly really loved the performance. I'm not a lot of this critique is more just really like, it's not like the best. Uh, I'm not like saying it was bad. I agree with you. I think it was pretty soft. I would have preferred maybe if he did like some of his other collab work, where I think he did a song with Skrillex, but I don't even know if they played the harder one. Uh, so it was good. It was cool seeing him live, seeing him do his thing. I thought that was epic. But
I
definitely, I think
agree.
Skrillex definitely, I think hit harder though. Not, and obviously, I mean, Skrillex is a lot more time he's been doing it. But
Yeah,
I kind of expected more similar energy, I guess, than like, Fred. It was, like you said, it was like he was kind of more soft. and it was still really good, but not really really hard. And the Skrillex kind of did everything, and I think that's kind of what people were more like waiting for.
Yeah. So, I mean, Fred again was a great like opening act for Skrillex if you look at it like that, you know. Um,
Yeah,
but he's very sentimental when he's like playing his music, and I don't know, like I just kind of wanted to hear him do some of the more fun tracks because we're at a festival, you know. I'm expecting like a higher kind of vibration or vibe from Fred, if that's, you know,
yeah,
possible. But he was just kind of really sappy and really in his like feelings, I felt like that night, and he was just kind of pouring his heart out to us, and I felt for the guy. I felt for what he was saying and everything, but it just didn't really transition to, you know, how excited I was to be at 3 points, you know. I was just so excited to be at 3 points, and I was thinking, oh, you know, I'm appreciative. I couldn't really like get my head out of like, you know, to slow down and really appreciate that moment. I bet like if I
yeah,
was able to, then I would have been able to enjoy it more. But, you know, to all the Fred again fans, I bet you could explain it a lot better to us on what we're missing. But overall for me, I decided to move out. So I moved over to Despacio, did that for a bit, and then I hopped on over to VTSS, which is this DJ uh, female who totally kicked ass. Like I loved her. She had like break beats. She had amazing D&B. Um, and she was at the sequence stage, so she was on multiple, you know, she was on the bottom level. I was up top watching at first, and then I made my way down to the bottom level to dance and stuff, and it was just a lot of fun. Like I had a great time at VTSS's set, which then transitioned from me going back to main stage to see Skrillex. I mainly, his set was long. It was literally like an hour and 15 minutes. I think he played for an hour and 30 though, wasn't it? Like he
yeah.
played a
Played
long
really
set.
long.
He played a really long set. Um, I felt like he just kind of kept, so like his flow state of like his live music was mainly his new stuff, his new work that he's been doing in like the house scene and
Yeah,
everything like that, the deep house. Um, you know, I was more excited about his older stuff, such as like Bangarang and stuff like that. Um, but you
and he
know,
played he very much played that more towards the end.
yeah, and unfortunately, my wife was hungry and said that we needed to go and get some food. So I missed that part. So I missed the Bangarang. I missed, you know, all of his like classics. I did get to hear before we left his cover with, I think it's Damian Marley, which is really cool.
Oh
I
yeah,
used to listen to that track a lot when I was, you know, in middle school or whatever, whenever Skrillex like came out, bro. So it's crazy that he's been around as long as he has, and I love that he's transitioning and exploring different genres and meshing them together and making it his own. Um, he's really a pioneer of you know, electronic music, so he does a good job. And it transitioned well live too. A lot of people were really into it. It was a good time. But unfortunately, I
I
missed
agree.
like the actual hits that he normally plays and stuff because he saved them for the end, of course. But we went over to the food area, which was located outside of the main frame or mind melt stage area. And we were over next to sequences and stuff, and there's a food area there. So we got some food and we hung out and saw Jeff Mills, which was a recommendation from our good friend Joey. I do have to say it was just heavy kick like the entire time, 4/4 kick. It was just like do 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 the entire time. So it was interesting. I did like most of the set, but I think I liked it only because of the location he was at. Sequences is a really cool venue to have, like to host some of these artists and everything.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah. So, what were your thoughts on Skrillex?
Skrillex I thought was really awesome. It was cool hearing his new stuff. I kind of would have liked some of his more of his older stuff. I feel like he chose some of the fan favorites, but I feel like it would have been cool to hear kind of like more of them. But I mean, I still it was really cool seeing him live. First time I've ever seen him live. I think he really knows how to put on a show. The all the effects were really awesome.
Yeah,
The sound was great. And like kind of towards the end, we listened to one or two of the old ones, and then once we heard one of the ones we wanted, we then at that point moved towards Jeff Mills because we didn't want to miss a lot of him. But I was very happy with what I heard. I mean, he did a great job. I fully understand. But like you said, I think it makes more sense if Fred again was kind of like his soft opener.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, not either. Both of them are amazing. It's not really like a big, I'm not like saying that in terms of like judgment.
Yeah, you're not saying this or that. You're saying, you know, it's togetherness, you know. So each of the
Yeah.
artists are amazing in their own right, you know. So that's what's great about music is, you know, it's not defined by the genre, it's defined by the artist, you know. The artist decides what to make and you as a fan decide if you enjoy it or not. So that's basically what it is at the end of the day. So another artist here that that we skipped here, I want to talk about for a moment is Mao P. He was at the RC Cola stage. I don't know what happened between 3 Points and EDC Orlando, which just passed this past November weekend. I can't remember the dates, but it was, you know, EDC in Orlando, and Mao P was there, and he had 15,000 people at his set at EDC, and he was literally having them eat out of the palm of his hands. Like he was throwing the most amazing set ever, and I'm kind of jealous that I missed his set at the RC Cola stage. But between Fred again and VTSS, like there was just no way that I could have caught uh, any of his set. So I'm disappointed that I missed it. But to those people who did get to see Mao P, congrats on that. Like that's really cool. He seems like a really good artist. I didn't realize how popular he is now. So it's great.
Well, it looks like he performed for like an hour and a half. That's crazy. Or not an hour and a half, but at least or yeah,
Yeah.
maybe an hour and a
Yeah, it
half.
is
Yeah.
an hour and a half. Yeah. So we were just busy because we were at Fred again, and then I went to VTSS, and then back to Skrillex, and then to Jeff Mills. Because
Yeah,
these
he
two
perf
stages were not that far away from each other. RC Cola was all the way on the other side of
yeah.
the festival. So it was a long walk. It was like a 10-15 minute walk, I would say. But yeah, you know, I felt like Friday was too jam packed. Like they had too many amazing artists playing all at the same time. Such as like, you know, Mao P, Clune, or is it Clooney? Clooney and Jeff
Clooney.
Mills and VTS. Like look at this like bracket here in the middle is just all clustered together. Fred again too. It's crazy. So basically from 10:30 to 2:30 a.m. it was just so many amazing artists playing through that time slot. And Alice Glass. I miss Alice Glass's set at Grand Central Stage. So I wanted to see her and I missed it because I was at Jeff Mills.
Yeah.
After that, that was when we linked up was at Jeff Mills and we enjoyed our time together at Jeff Mills when crews collide. So it was a good time. And then we navigated over to see the end of Clooney into Dom Dollar. And Ross was able to get into the VIP area, and the rest of GA was a madhouse. It was literally, you know, you were compressed in there. It was absolutely insane how
It
tight
was
it
crazy.
was. It was honestly insanity. I couldn't believe how packed it was. It was literally insane. But yeah, that was our first day of 3 Points. So what did I miss anything, Ross? Did we hit all the T's?
In terms of all the groups we saw, yeah, I mean that was definitely, and it was a good first day. I felt very busy. Like I feel like we saw a lot, but there was still so much going on that it was hard to. You
Yeah,
definitely felt like you were missing out on some things, no matter what.
yeah. I had extreme FOMO, and revisiting this you know, scheduled lineup for that Friday makes me a little upset that we missed as much as we did because of you know, where the stages were, the layout and everything, like it's great that they expanded, but at the same time, like I just feel like that they're expanding it because they're wanting to like sell more tickets and get more people in. And let me tell you, Friday they were oversold out. Like I don't know how many people were there that night, but it was so packed to the brim. It was impossible to get around place to place within
Well, I
a
will say,
relatively easy time.
not to be like a stir of controversy, but I heard from friends that go on Reddit and stuff like that there was definitely a lot of people that like snuck into. Like there was a huge influx of people that had just kind of like made their way into it because of how crowded it
Oh,
was.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but okay. It seemed honestly like the whole festival there was like security almost around all perimeters of the fest. I was very impressed that they like really hunkered down with security that year, or this year, excuse me. And I'm surprised that people were even able to sneak in. So that's insane. But
Yeah, no,
I
I mean,
mean, but for this lineup, like, yeah, I can totally understand why people were sneaking in. But even that, like, you could definitely like hear the music right outside the venue, so you could just pop a squat and listen.
yeah,
So
no,
if
it's
you're like
crazy.
just wanting to vibe and stuff inside the fest, then get a ticket. But if you just want to listen to the music, you could stand literally right outside the festival walls and hear the music crystal clear. So, anyways, so that was our Friday. So Saturday, I believe I arrived around 5:30. I arrived pretty early on the second day. Um, what time did you arrive? You arrived a little bit later, Ross.
Yeah,
You came
we learned
around.
this is
Hmm?
probably like 9.
Yeah, you showed up around 9, dude. But anyways, like I was really looking forward to Saturday because they had the most artists that I was wanting to see on that day. And again, I basically hung out at the main stage the entire time of this day. So I got there at 5:30 because I really wanted to see Donzi. Donzi is a local dark wave indie, fusion kind of band. They're very theatrical live. I've been following them for a while, and I was very happy to see them on the main stage. And they had all these like actors with them, and they really brought the theater with them, and they made it very theatrical. It felt like watching Cirque du Soleil or whatever, and
Hmm.
just watching people just kind of interact with each other to the music, and it just was a vibe. It was so cool, and the sun was kind of like setting around that time too, so it was kind of golden hour, so it felt really like nice.
Hmm.
But next was my sleeper hit. This was my actually one of my favorite acts. I think they were my number one favorite act of the festival, other than the last band that I'll talk about on this day. But Jockstrap really took me by surprise. They are a duo group. It's a female and a male, and the female is an amazing singer. She plays violin, she plays guitar, her range in singing, she has amazing like high octaves that she can hit and really good low to mid range octaves that she hit too. I was so impressed with the music. Like I did listen to some of their songs before seeing them, but it did not prepare me for how it transitioned to the live setting. The bass to their music was literally chest pounding. I know I was close to the front, but still, I've never had that much bass hit my chest. And they're not like their songs aren't even supposed to be that bassy. And it was literally just like, and I was like, dang, holy crap. Like, if you didn't have, like, I remembered my hearing protection that day, and I was like, thank God I did, because this would damage your hearing in literally 30 seconds or less. Like, it was that strong. But I really enjoyed their set, and I love their album that they released, and definitely a sleeper hit. Check out Jockstrap. Please do. Amazing. From there, I camped out at the main stage and waited for Caroline Polchek to come on. And when she came on, she opened with "Welcome to My Island," and she's an amazing hyper pop artist. And I really liked that they had a live band for her too, and she didn't just resort to having like a playback track kind of playing in the background. She actually had a
Yeah.
live band, so they had a drummer, they had guitarist, bassist. The bassist was Blue Del Tiger, and I was like, whoa! I was like, I know her, and then I couldn't remember who she was, and then she went down the line and said, introducing each member, and she was like, "Oh, and this is the bassist, Blue Del Tiger," and I was like, "I knew it! I knew it was someone I knew." So that was really cool that she was touring with Caroline Polchek and doing that stuff. So shout out Blue Del Tiger and shout out Caroline Polchek for having a really fun and amazing set. And this was when you showed up. Is that correct? Around 9 p.m.
Yeah.
All right. So did you get to see any of Caroline Polchek's set, or did you just go
Yeah,
somewhere else?
we saw a bit of it, and I saw Two Shell, and then
Two
we went and
Shell.
saw
Okay.
Subtract.
How was Two Shell?
Two Shell was cool. I only saw a little bit of it. I think we got there at like 8:30 ish. It was cool. I like the vibe. I think we listened to more of the INVT because we were walking around. I actually really
Yeah.
liked them.
Yep.
And then came back to see sub. I think it was Subtract or whatever. But
Yeah, they're right here. So, subtract, yeah. But INVT, fun fact for you, they are a Miami act. They're born and raised, locally grown from Miami. They've really paved and made their own path in the music scene in Miami. I really tip my hat off to them because they make some really amazing techno, breakbeat kind of music, drum and bass. It's really fun, and I bet seeing them at the it was at Isotropic, so I bet that was interesting seeing him at Isotropic. I kind of wish that they were at the Sequences. Sequences would have been really cool for them.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, after Caroline Polchek, oh, how was Subtract? I really wanted to see him, but I did not want to give up my spot for the next act I'm going to talk about. So
It was good. We saw it. I thought it was a really good act. The vibe was cool. I kind of wish he'd been longer, but I know like the time sequences were pretty short. So I feel like when I was starting to get into it, it was ending, but wasn't a bad thing.
yeah. So what I thought was interesting about Subtract, I listened to some of his music beforehand, but he's like a techno producer and he collaborates with a lot of indie artists. And he released one track with Toro y Moi, and I love that song a lot. It's Days Go By. So the next band that I was excited to see was actually the main reason that I bought a ticket to go to Three Points was for Mr. Iggy Pop. He is the godfather of punk rock and roll. So I love punk rock. I love seeing older acts while you still can. And Iggy Pop, nonetheless, if you may not know, he is from the Stooges, a '60s punk rock band that was formed in the late '60s and kind of resurged in the '70s and like really made some real awesome punk rock music and stuff. Check out the Stooges, check out Iggy Pop. Love that stuff if you want to listen to some like older punk rock. And his performance was unlike anything I've ever seen. He's really old. He's like in his 80s, and he was just as wild as I thought he was going to be. So he ripped his shirt off the moment he walked on stage. He was holding the microphone over his head. He was like, and he was going nuts and crazy and just singing all of the good songs from the Stooges and his own solo project stuff from Iggy Pop in the '70s and '80s. Really good stuff. I was super hyped, and I was happy I camped all day at the main stage for that set. That was the main reason why I camped. The other artists were just a bonus, as I saw, and Iggy Pop really killed it. There was one part though that really freaked me out. Though he he was like jumping. You know how there's like the speakers on the bottom floor, right? And
Yeah.
those are like the bass speakers. So he was jumping from speaker to speaker. He's an old man, like he shouldn't be doing that. And of course, he gets to the second to last speaker, he jumps and he misses it, and he grabs onto the stage and he's like wiggling. You hear the microphone slam, and he's wiggling off the side, like dangling. And security was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like they finally figured out that he was just like laying down and almost like falling off. And thankfully he grabbed the stage, because if he didn't grab the stage, I'm imagining he would have pulled like a Dave Grohl right then and there and just broke his leg from falling off the stage. So I'm so glad he grabbed the stage, and thankfully he was pulled up by security and other members that were on stage. So very, very interesting, and added to the rock and roll flair of, Iggy Pop and what he embodies. So it was a fun set. I know you got to see
Yeah.
some of it. What did you think from your perspective on Iggy Pop's set?
I thought Iggy killed it. He was one of the most entertaining shows, I would think. I mean, with his age and everything, that was definitely a factor. But I
Yeah,
still think he was really entertaining for how old he was. It was crazy. I'm really impressed, especially like when he basically fell and then he finished the show.
yeah.
Um,
He didn't miss
I
a
really,
beat. Like he just stood right back up and grabbed the microphone and went right back into it. And I was like, wow, holy cow.
I think overall, I think him and Grimes, definitely the other acts are not. I'm saying not better or worse, but I think him and Grimes for me, I was like the most impressed overall. I
Yeah,
think as it happened.
yeah. So they really stood out to you, and that's awesome, dude. That's so cool that you enjoyed Iggy Pop. I'm glad that you really did. For me, after that, I went to see Daphne. Daphne is a side project of Caribou, who performed on the day before on Friday. So it was really cool kind of getting to hear some of the, you know, other side of what he's working on, which is kind of more techno kind of style music. And I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. Got to see only like 15 minutes of it because I wanted to stretch my legs and, not be standing up at the front of the stage anymore of the, mind melt stage.
Hmm.
So I, went over to sequences and enjoyed Daphne for about 15, 30 minutes. And after that, I came rushing back to Mind Melt for Grimes and the Elf Tech art roll. So I didn't realize that it does say it clear as day right there. It says, oh no, hold on. Relive. I thought it said so it has AI capitalized right there. So I didn't realize before, but basically it's like augmented reality and artificial intelligence. It's written right there. So it was very interesting getting to see Grimes. Her stage appeal and performance was second to none. I loved all of her visuals. It was definitely through like AI technology. So it was like images of her, and it would show her like as like an elf, or she'd be like out in space, or there'd be just like different things kind of happening. I felt like she just kind of had a reel that she just kind of made where she typed in all these different things that AI can do to her, and she saved that and put that as like her background video. And the funny thing that I thought about Grimes was she did not like stick to her own material the entire set. Like she only played like two or three of her own songs. Other than that, she played mostly covers of other songs, including the Christmas song hit from Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas Is You." And I'm like, oh my gosh, why is she
That was
playing
pretty
this
hype.
right now? Everybody went off to that, like they were hyped for it, and I was just like, what is going on? Like it's not anywhere near Christmas, like it's not even Halloween yet. So it was wild. And she was in the mic, she was like, you can't resist, you love this song, it's a good song. I felt brainwashed. I was like, oh my god, this is insane.
She's right. She
So
is right though.
she is right. Yeah, it is a good song. But incorporating that into her material was an interesting choice. But I am glad that she played Oblivion and a couple of her other songs. Unfortunately, it was a DJ set, so there was no live element to it, kind of like Caroline Polchek. I was hoping for more of like a Caroline Polchek appearance where she's just on stage singing and doing her bit, and has a back band that's like playing the tracks and everything live. But that was nowhere near the case. She just had this really weird stage setup, and you could barely even see her because she was behind like a screen of projections. And it definitely was her. You could tell because the cameras would clip over to her, and she was there dancing with a bunch of other people on stage. I don't even know who those people were, but it definitely added to the kinetic energy and added the vibe to another level. And I'm glad to see her nonetheless. It was interesting. What was your perspective on it?
Grimes, I mean, I really loved the show. We saw the whole thing. My girlfriend really wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And I thought overall it was really good. I didn't realize Grimes would actually be DJing. I thought it was like just her stuff with a DJ like collab. So I thought it was really cool that she was doing it herself.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I thought, I mean, she had some art and stuff that was from like Japanese. I'm assuming she'd like, either paid or it was like something she'd gotten from something else where it was like not only like that art, but she had like, like anime references, things like that. Again, like her and Iggy, I really like their sets the most, I think, overall, but that's basically what I would say about it.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for adding those inputs. That's solid, honestly. I'm glad that you enjoyed Grimes' set. I know her music is quite out there, and getting to see her on stage do what she does, it's definitely a spectacle to witness at least once in your life. I don't know if I'd want to go see it again solely just her, but maybe if it was like in the case of like she was with a live band and she was actually performing all of her music and stuff, because I do enjoy her music solely, like her 2011 album Oblivion, and her I believe it was 2015 album Art Pop, which is
Hmm.
amazing. And then for me, my last band that I could see, unfortunately, we had to go early so we could get some sleep because we had to get out of the Airbnb pretty early the next day. Was one of my favorite bands of all time, indie legends, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, graze the stage at Sector 3, and that was my closeout performance. And all I have to say is I couldn't have asked for a better band to close out with. They are amazing live. Ruben is a great singer. He's an amazing guitarist. He knows how to put on a show. And I'm so grateful that we got there early and we got to like sit and wait and had a really good close spot and enjoy everything that they had to dish out for us. They played a lot of their older songs, which was a really pleasant surprise. And he did play some songs from their new album V, which is five, Roman numeral five. And I had a great time, man. Like that was the best set for me. But that's probably because I'm biased. I am a really big Unknown Mortal Orchestra fan. So if you ever get a chance to see them live, definitely catch them live because they are an amazing act to see. They are a spectacle. Ross, I know that you came and hooked up with me during their set in the early part, but I know that you guys were really tired and you wanted to have more elbow room to chill out and stuff, and I completely understand all of that. So, did you get to stay around and actually see and listen to some of the stuff that they were dishing out, or?
Yeah, we were just out, we were just kind of like on the outskirts. I think at that point my girlfriend was more tired and we were linking up with the other people we were with. But yeah, we kind of stayed more in the outskirts and chilled for a good portion of it. And then we went and I think either went back to Despacho, Despacio or
Despacio.
whatever. Yeah,
Despacio.
Despacio.
Yeah.
And just kind of vibed at that point. I think we were just kind of really tired also, just kind of hanging out at that point.
Yeah, I mean, by that point, staying up till like 4 a.m. the night before and then having to do it again, it's just too much. I feel like it's a little bit too much. But that's Miami. They party 24/7. You can go down to what's that one club called? It's Space Club Miami. They have DJs playing 24 hours a day. Like there's a DJ always playing at that place. You can go and DJ and or see a DJ at like 8 a.m. in the morning. It's insane. But Yeah, so I agree. Like at that point, for me, like Unknown Mortal Orchestra was the last act to see for myself, especially getting to see all of those other amazing artists in the beginning of the day. I know that you stuck around and you got to see John Summit back to back with Green Velvet. What was your opinion on that set? I know that a lot of people were really hyped for that set.
Oh, that was, yeah, I mean, that was a crazy set. I would honestly argue and say that I think that they were together were almost bigger than the Skrillex's show. It was a really good cap on the night. They had a lot of pyrotechnics, like a lot more that had happened than at the other like performances.
Yeah,
So it really kind of cemented the end. Green Velvet, I've heard is amazing, and he's apparently like everything he touches is really good. So people were just really saying that it was going to be a really good collab to hear.
yeah. I definitely heard a lot of good things about. I know John Summit. He's really like taken off. I know that like, what's his name? Diesel, DJ Diesel,
Shaq.
aka Shaq. He wants to do like collabs with John Summit. I'm not sure if they actually have yet or not, but yeah, like he's really influential on the house side of things, and Green Velvet. Yeah, he's amazing with house too. So I bet seeing him back to back like that was pretty amazing, and with the addition of fireworks to end off the night, or I guess you could say mid morning, almost morning.
Oh yeah.
At that point, 4 a.m. is pretty late. I was at Denny's at that hour basically. After Unknown Mortal Orchestra, I went to Denny's that was like a few miles away, and I had like a grand slam just to kind of get some food in me because we didn't eat that whole night. Basically, we just waited until after the fest to eat something. So it was really fun. It was a good time. What are your pros from this festival? I want to hear pros first.
Pros overall, I thought the venue area was really sick. Um, I feel like the spacing of everything seemed pretty good. Um, and the biggest con with that statement being said was just that, like you had said, it was so sold out and there were so many people that at certain points it almost felt like impassable. It felt like it felt like a theme park, like Orlando or Universal. It was very like, am I gonna wait 45 minutes or an hour to get to do this, or am I gonna, like you didn't. And I'm one of those people that's very like I wouldn't say non-confrontational in like if it needs to be, but I'm very like in those situations you're like everyone's trying to hang out, so I'm not trying to like bum people or force my way into things, and that was very much like you had to. There's no way you could really like just float around and actually still see anything. Um, but like that being said, I know that sounds very harsh, but that being said, everything was really cool to see. And the setups were good. It was just like I couldn't imagine being like short or being like, you really want to see sets and you can't, unless you literally have some VIP access, like there was no way. There's no way that was gonna happen.
Yeah, so I would say that I'll start with my pros. So my pros is since I've been seeing it expanded, how they widened, how many stages that they have, the whole overall presentation of what 3 points is a huge plus. I think it's great that they have so many stages and so many things to be able to go and do and see and experience, such as like the walkthrough art exhibits, and you get to roller skate and you get to do the disco at Despacio, and they had the Danny Days Blue experience. It's great that they had variety, and I love that everything was so spaced out. However, there were big cons to that. Because it was so spaced out, it felt like you couldn't get to a stage that you were wanting to see an artist at a relatively quick pace because it was so oversold out. At least on Friday. I know on Friday it was really, really sold out. Saturday was not as packed as Friday was, but I'm not 100% sure why that was the case. They told us it was a sold out festival, so I'm imagining that maybe more people were just kind of there for a certain act. Maybe more people were coming in like at the end for Green Velvet back to back with John Summit. That's who his name is, and it just didn't feel as busy as like the first day did. So on the first day, it just felt like in the beginning it was easy to like navigate and like do whatever you're wanting to go see and do. But as the night progressed, there was more and more and more people, and it was just bottlenecks everywhere. Just so many bottlenecks, and you had to like shimmy past, or you're like you were just saying a moment ago. It was not easy to get through the crowd. You had to be kind of assertive and be like, okay, I have to move. Excuse me, So for someone like me, I've been to a lot of festivals where it's very crowded like that, and you just kind of have to force yourself into it and dig through the people and just say sorry. That's kind of it. So unfortunately, everybody needs their space, and I get that, and it's good to take time for yourself. Um, so circling back to the other pro, I like that they had lots of lounge areas, so they had like two really nice big lounge areas inside where the skate space was and Despacio. Those were really good additions. And then I know that wasn't the only areas. They had, lounge areas where the food was and everything. So it was good on all those parts. I was very happy with that. But let me think of one more pro. So the other pros that I had was, oh, this one was dumb, but I couldn't believe that they had a brewery. Like, so they were able to expand the footprint, and apparently there's like a brewery that's brick and mortar, like actually there. It's not like a booth that's set up. I know we
Yeah, like
went
in
there and we
Winwood.
like looked. We didn't actually like drink or participate in the brewery, but I just was taken back that they even had a physical brewery that you could walk inside and order a beer, and it was open all night long. You can just go in there and get your beer. And I was like, dang, this is where it's at. Like, that's really cool compared to like, going up to one of those food vending stands and getting a beer there, and it's just like a can of
Yeah.
beer. So that was some top tier stuff. I enjoyed that. I bet you have more pros on at least like in the VIP sections and stuff. So do you think like your ticket was worth it?
VIP wise, so like overall, truth be told, um, the bathrooms were a really good plus. Like air conditioned, almost like trailered bathrooms. So like that, I think was a really great commodity, especially if you were like, say, if you were a girl that was wearing like an outfit or something really hard where you can't just easily use like a toilet, like like a freaking porta potty. I think it gave them a lot more comfort. But like other than that, there was no immediate sitting like areas in VIP. You just had standing tables. The food options were very good, and they were different than what I think was actually just in the normal food areas, but like the cost was still high. And
Yeah.
I thought that the food and drink would be included to some like say because I've stayed I went to the Just Like Heaven Fest in LA, and there was a certain food and drink that was complimentary with VIP, but then you could get better stuff if you wanted. This was like there was nothing included. You just had the area you were in. So in that way, to be honest, I don't know if it was really worth the extra cost, but like the amenities you got, I definitely feel like it was like a back and forth. Like it was good to have them, but it was just like a lot for what it was.
Yeah. So those are all really good takes. I think you missed the fact that you had your own private like stage too, where you can go and like hang out and listen to a DJ and everything.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
the
think that's
VIP.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, the
So
VIP room at first, like I will say, there was times where if they weren't performing, it was really just more like the bar. But when they were performing, it was like a more exclusive experience. But when it got really busy, that felt like everything else. Because even VIP at one point felt like it was like super crowded.
wow. Well, I guess that there you have it. So VIP is a maybe. So I don't know if it's worth the money if you're looking for having food and drinks included and stuff. You're not really gonna get that type of experience with 3 points. But you do get to go into these different separated areas, and it is separated from GA, so it's nice, but at the same time, it's still just as crowded at points. It depends on who's playing, obviously, I bet too. So that always is a factor. So for me, I unfortunately feel like I have more cons than I do uh, pros for this festival. I think it's changed for a little bit towards the worst. I don't know again because this was their 10-year anniversary of the festival, but their genre choices for this lineup was super underwhelming. I felt like they normally have like a really amazing balance with techno, electronica, EDM, and indie, hip hop, all of that kind of stuff. Literally, there was zero hip hop. The only hip hop act that they had canceled. Bones Thugs and Harmony. Uh, they canceled, and they didn't find a replacement act for them. They were just like, "Oh well, we're out. No hip hop." And it's like when I went in 2019, they literally had almost all hip hop. Like there was the Internet, there was Tyler the Creator, ASAP Rocky, JPEG Mafia. Like they had some stellar names on that lineup. And let me tell you, it was just as busy then as it was, at this 3 points, even though this one was a lot bigger. But it is an Insomniac event. I don't know when they became Insomniac, but they really focus on EDM. And there definitely was a heavy EDM presence, at least on the first day, with Fred again and Skrillex and VTSS and, you know, uh, the Detroit artist. I forgot his name all of a sudden. He was on there too. So it was just very heavily EDM. And I almost would have said like I'm buying a ticket to EDC at this point. And if that's really what I'm wanting to go to, then I would rather just buy a ticket to EDC because a lot of the same artists that we experienced at this lineup also played EDC Orlando,
Yeah.
such as like Mau P and Clooney and Dom Dollar even played there. So it was a lot of crossovers between the two festivals. And if you are an EDM lover, I would say like yeah, you could go to 3 points, but you should just go to EDC because you're going to get more EDM for your buck, at that point. So, um, but I feel like they veered away from what 3 points is 100% about, which is, just having like a wide spread of genres, allowing you to enjoy those genres and being able to experience art along the way. So they definitely had some art areas where you could experience it, but I felt like it was underwhelming compared to prior art experiences that I've gotten to witness, such as like the Brian Eno experience where you were able to lay in these like bags and look at the roof and there's like these moving things that were like articulating with Brian Eno's music and stuff. Uh, it was unlike anything I've experienced before. So I enjoyed those types of moments at 3 points. And I felt like this time or this year, it didn't really have that. So, I bet the Danny Day's Blue experience was something similar to that effect, where it was since like sensory kind of stuff. But at the same time, you couldn't get in. It was already reserved. So if you didn't know, you couldn't get in. So there was a lot of cons on that aspect. And the food selection, I thought it was pretty mid. It wasn't really that good. Um, they didn't have that big of a variety of food. And the food that you did get was very, like, small portions. Like it was a small portion for the price that you're asking for. And I didn't like that. So, on the second day, as I mentioned, I didn't eat at all. So I waited until Denny's after. So I was like, okay, we're going to go to Denny's and get a Grand Slam. Um, and then lastly, the big thing that I did not like was at the main stage. They had installed a parking curb that goes right down the middle of the main stage. And people, I knew it when I saw it on their Instagram story. I saw the parking curb and I commented. I said, I hope that's the back of the stage and not the front of the stage because that's a safety hazard. And I was completely right. It was not the back of the stage, it was the front. They had that parking curb going right down the middle. People were tripping, they were falling over it. They were all of this crap that kept happening with that stupid curb. And I really do not like that they still I love the space. Like the old area of 3 points is an amazing place for a main stage, but having a curb going right up the middle, you need to put platforms or something to make it all level. At least do that. So then that way it's like less of a safety hazard. But literally, people were like tripping over each other, punching people's drinks out on accident, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. I mean, like I was saying, I was at the front, at the main stage the entire, uh, you know, second day, and I just kept witnessing it over and over and over. I almost wanted to take a video and catch it on video to then send it to 3 Points and say, "Hey, fix this problem." Like next year, do better, at least in that
Yeah.
aspect. So that's the only thing I really want them to improve on, at least if they're deciding to keep the main stage at that location or not. And lastly, I think they really need to go back to being a 3 day festival. Being 2 days just felt like not enough time to experience everything, such as like Despacio and the skating, and all those artists that they had crammed into 2 days was just too much. Like I felt like I missed a lot of the acts that I actually really wanted to go check out. And I just basically had to do the unfortunate thing, which is pick and choose. So that's my list of pros and cons. I would love to hear the rest of yours on all of that, or hear your input on my pros and cons
I mean,
before.
I think you hit a lot of the nails on the head. I hadn't been there previous, so for me, I really enjoyed the experience. But yeah, the first day felt very a lot more like this is just like personal slash like I can't say it's 100% a con, but it felt very more like Chad slash like it was very like fratty. Like the vibe of the first day with Skrillex. Like when
Yeah,
Skrillex ended, I kid you not, it was like a snow of just garbage. Like it was like people were like wading through cans and bottles of just like the people had just like partied for his show. And then right when it ended, everyone just left and it was just like garbage everywhere. And that was kind of like a thing that blew my mind where it was just like, which like you never saw that the next day. That was the craziest part. That was like just then. But then
yeah.
like the next day, it seemed like that everyone was more friendly. It was a chill vibe. But that first day, I don't know if it was like the overcrowding or overselling or what, but it just felt very you had a very different feel the first day to the second day.
I agree. It was very frustrating almost because of the type of crowd that was there. It didn't feel 3 Points esque. It felt like I was at EDC or something where there's a bunch of fratty people that are trying to turn up and have an amazing time. And unfortunately, those people do like to litter. So they're too lazy to hold on to their trash and throw it away in a receptacle afterwards. So I mean, I'm a type of person that likes to hold on to my trash until I find a trash can. So I don't like to be that guy that throws it on the ground knowing that, oh, they pay people to be able to pick up this trash. And it's like, you don't need to create more of a burden for those people. Those people are already dealing with enough as is. So I 1000% agree with you that the vibe on day one was not as good compared to day two. Day two felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I was like, we're back. Like, this is 3 Points. This is the 3 Points I remember. And day one felt like EDC, day two felt like 3 Points. So that's just from
Yeah, I
my
would agree.
perspective. Yeah.
No,
So I agree with that point. Was there anything else that you had to add to the list?
um, not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. I will say, like going back to what we kind of addressed before, I think I wish they were kind of a lot more forward with the differences in terms of like GA, GA plus, and VIP. I feel like the VIP benefits they had said or had shown did not really match what I got when I got there. I mean, I'm pretty sure it even had said something about like, complimentary or something food and drink, or at least they should specify like, hey, you're going to be just in a separate area, but like it's still going to be like, you're not paying for extra food and drink or anything. It's going to just be like a different space. And I think that that would have been a little bit nicer if they had like that had been clarified.
Yeah. So I understand that if they were like more transparent and upfront, being more forward with what the product is that they're trying to offer. Um, I agree. Like, it's good to be very transparent with your fans, basically, who are wanting to experience these experiences and understand exactly what they're trying to enjoy. If you're going VIP, you want to be treated like VIP. So,
Well,
some festivals do it better than others.
and another aspect of this too that a lot of people might not know unless they're invest like they've done it is that while getting VIP, it says that it gives you access to after parties, it gives you access to these things. It doesn't give you access for free. You would just be on a email list where as soon as it dropped, you could get the tickets first. So no matter what, you weren't really getting anything inclusive to the money other
Yeah.
than the ability to spend more money on more exclusive things. So that's like one thing where, not going and not knowing that made a huge difference versus me not knowing and being like, well, if I paid this amount, I'll be able to do all these things if I have time. Not like, oh, okay, not really. I have to still make more like it's like, Disney Plus. I got to like make pre-arrangements to do these things.
Yeah, so I agree with that. It was a la carte, basically. They just gave you early access to those shows. What they could have done is like, if you're VIP, instead of like, if they really didn't want to give you those shows for free, what they could have at least done for y'all is make it like a certain percentage off for VIP people to be able to enjoy those after parties. Whether that's, 30% off, 25% off, or even up to 50% off. Like, that's money savings that VIP gets as a perk, to be able to experience those satellite parties. So it is a shame that they didn't incorporate that. And I agree with you. I think if you're going VIP, they need to be very clear and specific on what they are offering, and allow fans, or listen to the fans and understand what they should be offering, to then enhance that experience and reflect that in the ticket price.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy the VIP as much as you're hoping to. So,
Oh no,
but
I was still a great experience. It was just, you don't know until you do it.
of course, yeah. So at least you did it, and you came out, and you came and you saw and you conquered. Viva la vida! So it was a good time overall. Um, Even above all these cons, we want to provide criticism of what they can improve on, because there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. The biggest pro is that they have expanded the grounds. They have more stages. I really like that they have access to like a brewery. I just want them to improve their food choices and make sure that everybody is safe. Like having a curb right down the middle of your main stage. Come on, that's like 101 safety hazard. Like people are not going to pay attention. They're drunk. They're high. They're whatever they're doing, and tripping over that, and then their teeth getting into someone's arm or whatever, accidentally
Yeah,
hitting someone's beer out of their hand. I saw it, and it was bad. I mean, it was insane. So I think that was a huge miss on their part. And, I'm a very safety kind of person. And seeing that and how that kind of was overlooked is very negative, at least from my point of view. I think that they really need to enhance that if they want to stay in that same area. So
I agree.
hopefully they do make these changes and hear these things that we talked about in this video. But that's all I have for me on this episode. Is there anything else that you're wanting to add?
I want to go with you and say that as much as I don't want to just sound like we're trashing it. I think that I definitely saw a lot of people having a wonderful time. I think it's a great place. If you're interested and you enjoy that style of music, it is definitely something to check out. I just like, like Cody said, these are more just like our thoughts and experiences with it. I don't want to make anyone, become very upset or be, very standoffish just because we're just kind of trying to give our 2 cents. It really is more just like, Cody wants to see it get better, and you've gone before and you'll go again, and it's something to where you just want things to get better as time goes on.
Of course, yeah. I appreciate you looking at this through a higher level. I was more detail oriented. But yes, my cons are more or less for the festival to improve and get back to its true roots. I really want to see them do more of a diverse lineup, do 3 days for the festival, so you get to actually experience everything that's under the sun at the festival. All the offerings are amazing at 3 Points. The group and everybody who throws it on, thank you to them. They've been doing an amazing job for many, a decade now. Happy 10 years to 3 Points, and I hope 10 years more of this festival. I just want them to keep providing that 3 points experience and not turn into EDC. So, yeah,
I agree.
yeah. I think that's a good note to end on, honestly. So, Ross, I
Yes,
appreciate you
sir.
so much for coming and recapping with me on our 3 points adventure that happened almost a month ago. Actually, it's a month ago today. Today's the
Yeah,
20th.
that's crazy.
So, 1 month ago, we were at 3 points. And yeah, so I wanted to circle around and get this done sooner, but here we are now. We're getting it done. And I appreciate you joining us today and sharing your 2 cents and your pros and cons and everything that you experienced at the festival. So thank you.
Of course, man, no problem. Thank you for your time. And I hope
All
everyone's
right.
having a great day.
Yes. All right. Do not forget to follow Crispy Reviews on social media platforms. You'll see it on Instagram at Crispy Reviews. And then you can also watch this video on YouTube and on Spotify. So please tune in,
And if you
like, follow, and share.
and if you don't, you'll get sleep paralysis.
Oh!